This is Zacks Live, the weekly real-time segment when Zacks experts examine key earnings announcements and break down what you should know to prep for what's ahead.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Zacks Live. Joining me today is Zacks strategist Nina Mishra. And of course, Kevin Cook is going to be with us in a little bit. And I'm your host with the most or the least, Brian Bolin.
Go Buckeyes!
Go Buckeyes, that's right. I'm wearing a little scarlet and gray in honor of my team defeating the team from up north. We don't even say their name, that's how much we dislike them. But things that we do like are earnings. Yes. And let's take a look at what happened last week. We'll just bring a couple earnings winners and losers from last week. We had Trina Solar with a huge beat of the Wall Street consensus there. Palo Alto Networks is a security play, a little beat there, but the stock moved up pretty well. And Hewlett Packard beats by a penny, but gave some good guidance, so that's why I threw Hewlett Packard in there. On the downside, though, Beacon Roofing. I guess there wasn't that many natural disasters in the quarter, so no tornadoes or anything like that to rip the roof off. And then Hormel Foods missed by a penny, but there was downside guidance there.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened last week. Last week was a slow week for earnings because we only had, a few days. You don't want to report on Thanksgiving.
I think the big news was the oil slide after OPEC decided to maintain their production level. So oil prices plunged further, and oil stocks were routed. Let's see whether that is going to weigh on the market this week as well. And we also will see whether the lower energy prices, they are going to encourage consumers to spend more, or whether consumers are still cautious.
Right.
We'll see in a bit.
Exactly. But let's take a look this week coming up at what's coming up in the world of earnings. And we see we've got a lot of retailers, pretty much all week. So kind of funny how that happens, like right after Black Friday, that we have retailers.
Retail parade continues.
They're going to give us. Are they going to give us good news? Or are they going to give us bad news?
Yeah. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. If we knew that, we wouldn't be here, Nina.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what's ahead. But for right now, let's take a look at one stock in particular that Kevin Cook has got all lined up in his crosshairs.
All right. Bring it.
There it is.
Here it is. Kicking off the retailers. I like to call them the three amigos. You got Aeropostale, American Eagle, and Abercrombie. Let's talk Vince reporting tomorrow morning, Tuesday, before the open. This is the new everyday luxury to compete with Kors. And they've got about 30-some stores, mostly East Coast New York area and SoCal. They just launched a new line of handbags in late October. And so this is what some of the excitement here is going into earnings. And they're in this white space of handbags from 500 to 1,000, that Kors might be on either side of, and Kate Spade. 20% revenue grower this year, and close to that for next year. We're looking at expected EPS of 33 cents on revenues of 99 million. Could be held back by expenses a little bit. Obviously, the key is going to be their outlook and holiday sales trends that they're seeing. If the company can talk about, hey, this is how well our handbags are doing. So Vince kicks off retailers this week.
Now, if I'm looking for a Vince handbag, were you checking any of them out online, and do you know what they look like? I'm a guy, I don't know what
I was not. Okay. I did not do my homework that well.
Nina, would you happen to know a Vince bag if you saw it?
No, I've never bought their handbags, so I have no idea.
I tell you, a $500 bag to me doesn't sound like much of a deal, but you never know. It's all in the eye of the beholder, right? Isn't that the idea behind fashion just in general?
Exactly.
Speaking of fashion, it's in fashion to be an A stock and to be releasing earnings. So this week, one of the companies that's going to report is Abercrombie.
Yeah, we are going to talk about three teen clothing retailer over here, and it seems that teens have not been easy to please. These guys have been struggling with weak traffic and highly promotional environment. Abercrombie, the chart doesn't look too bad, but they actually they reported their earnings update last month, and they reported that sales during the third quarter were down 12%. And that sent estimates plunging, and the stock to rank 4. So, and I think the share price is down more than 30% in the last 3 months.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely down. I mean, we've seen 4 beats in a row here, but obviously they're managing those beats by guiding Wall Street
lower.
ahead of the number.
Yeah, exactly.
Cooker, would you happen to know if Abercrombie has anything to do with the oil trade at all?
Only in the sense that they're both going down.
All right, drilling for a bottom. Aeropostale is another retailer. Now, this chart does not look quite as nice.
Doesn't
It's like a
look
$3
good.
stock now, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's down 60% this year, and earnings ESP is still negative 11%. So I don't think if they are going to reverse that trend of misses anytime soon.
That would not be a stock that's going to show up in the Zacks Surprise Trader
Yes.
outfit there. So if you have
Yeah.
a negative earnings ESP, but obviously a bunch of misses in there, and you know, stocks under 5 tend to be stocks under 4 very quickly. Let's take a look one more here, and we've got American Eagle Outfitter. All A's, 3 A's for you.
This
Three
actually
amigos.
looks better than the other two. Zacks ranked 2 stock, and they actually guided higher last month.
Well,
And that is
right.
why the estimates went up, and there was there's a small rally that you can see. They are expanding. They opened some stores in London last month, and they say that they are able to reduce promotions of late. So looks good for the stock.
Looks good. Cooker, would you happen to know if American Eagle has anything to do with the oil trade?
All I got to say is if you're going to do something, if you're going to build a business around teen trends,
Yeah.
you better be moving fast, right?
Right.
Because these guys, you know, these are a perfect
Things
example.
change so
Yes.
fast.
Exactly. Speaking of our
Hey.
A stocks, Kevin Cook is going to go a little deep dive into another A stock, Ambarella.
Let's talk about Ambarella. Big story last week. These guys are the chip maker for GoPro cameras. Now, tons of excitement because GoPro seem to be, you know, clearing the shelves of these cameras on Amazon. Maybe not the high-end $500 camera, but they're selling a lot of them. Let's learn about Ambarella, who they are, what they do. They make the video processor. They're in the Hero cameras, but that is only 25 to 30% of their revenues. The other big chunk of their business is digital security cameras, and IP stands for Internet Protocol. These are not your father's closed-circuit televisions. These are, you know, high-definition cameras with two-way communication to stream live to the internet. I put C&H to stand for corporate and home. Obviously, they're building these for both venues, but they have 30% market share in the corporate market. So that's a big area for them, as much as 40 to 45% of their revenues, and an area that's growing at 40%. Wearable cop cams in China, they're already selling these cop cams, that, you know, wearables in China, and China has a few more policemen than we do here in the States. So, that's going to be a growing market for them. Automotive dash cams, very big in Russia. I know, I've been there, I've seen them. And then the 360 tech is the cool thing, where they can have cameras around your car and then build a integrated image of what your car looks like driving down the road.
So from any angle, you're
Yeah,
protected.
exactly. And then drones. Now, drones isn't really like their 5th business segment. I just put it on here because the big news last week was Wall Street Journal does a story on GoPro is going to be developing drones next year with cameras, obviously. And who would be the chip maker for that? Probably Ambarella. But that's, that's next year's business. But drones need HD. They need high definition because not only are they moving fast like a car, but they might be, 100 feet in the air.
Right.
So Ambarella will be the key provider there. Let's go to my next slide. I want to just drill down into the technology a little bit, what makes these guys so special and how they're doing stuff that nobody else is doing. So it's proprietary HD and ultra HD video image processing. And, the technical stuff here of, 1080p with 60 frames per second versus 4K, which is your big widescreen. That's not my area of expertise. We'll ask the guys back here in the video booth about that. But the word is that Ambarella is doing this better than anyone. And their system on a chip, I put 30 frames per second, but they can actually capture 60 frames per second. They built the coolest camera in your phone, whether if it's an iPhone, Ambarella was developing this technology 5 years ago. So they're ahead of the competition. The key is their compression algorithm. They're taking high definition video and compressing that in unique ways that consume less power, less storage, less processing. So on some of these sports cameras, you can be filming in ultra high def and capturing that, and at the same time transmitting the raw footage to the internet. So it's just amazing stuff they do. I followed Kevin Cassidy here from Stiefel, who's been a big AMBA fan since their IPO, along with Brian Bolin, who was an early adopter of the stock. Next thing, let's preview earnings here. The next slide. So what are we looking for? Q2 was a big beat and guide higher. Set the bar higher here. Big expectations for Q3. And this is actually, we're already in their fiscal year 15. On a January cycle. So we're already in their fourth quarter. They're going to be reporting for the quarter that ended in October. Looking for 53 cents non-GAAP. The Zacks number would be GAAP, of course, of 44 cents. 62 million on the top line. They're probably going to beat that, and not necessarily because of big GoPro sales, because a lot of that, is already baked in. If GoPro is clearing the shelves, it doesn't mean that AMBA is necessarily selling more now. They had to ship that stuff 2 months ago, to the contract manufacturers. All right. The highest guy on the street is the guy from Pacific Crest. He raised AMBA estimates and his price target to $55 2 weeks ago, way above everybody else. So the stock got there quickly. Yeah. So what are the expectations now? It's GoPro cameras leaving the shelves. Does that expand AMBA's business? What we really want to hear from AMBA is what's going on in the security market, the IP security market. They'll probably talk about drones, but on a valuation basis, this stock probably got a little bit ahead of itself. Because what are guys paying for a revolutionary chip maker? Are they going to pay 30 times next year? And next year, which is their fiscal year 16. Estimates are at about $1.50. So 30 times that was the average price target on the street, $45. And, it's trading 55 now. So it got a little rich, but if the company delivers this Thursday and talks about, double-digit sequential growth in those other business segments, then this stock could easily support a new valuation over 35 times.
Right.
All right, that's it for AMBA.
All right, so it's back to the world of retail, and it's anyone's guess what stock is going to be next.
Yes. So for guess, the chart actually doesn't look too bad. One miss after 4 quarters of beats, but actually this miss during the second quarter, they missed on the top line and the bottom line, and also guided lower.
Oh.
So analysts followed with estimates cut, and the stock touched a 52-week low last month. And what's your guess on the stock? Things don't. My guess is that things don't look so good as of now.
Yeah, the miss, guide lower, and all that we've seen.
That combination doesn't work well.
Yeah, that combination has a lasting effect. I like to say that's a 6-month window right there.
Yes.
So for the last 3 months, you didn't perform what you were going to, and for the next 3 months, you're going to underperform. So that's half a year right there. You really got to hope that stock found that bottom down there and that dip. But it's anyone's guess if it did or not, right?
Yeah.
All right, next up is the Express, and my goodness.
That's an ugly chart.
Oof.
Yeah, 4 quarters of misses. It's a Zacks rank 4 stock, and earnings ESP is also negative, minus 12.5%, so I don't think they are going to recover anytime soon.
So no express lanes for this one, huh, Cooker?
Yes.
Yeah, the dash cam on that one just saw this one go into the ditch.
Into the ditch. All right, let's get it out of the ditch here, and let's talk about one of our favorites here at Zacks.
Yes. Yeah, that's a beautiful chart for this beauty products company. I see only
one
miss in last 5 years, 6 years.
Right.
And the stock is actually up 30% this year, unlike most of the retail peers, which have been losers year to date. And there are many growth opportunities. I love their stores. I love the stocks. Zacks rank 2. They have an excellent loyalty program, which could be a key driver for growth. And it's a large and growing market. These guys still have a small share in the market. So I think a lot of expansion potential.
Right.
For this stock.
I think the big miss there with the stock going straight down, you can see that was a time when I think the CEO and CFO
Yes.
were both leaving.
Yeah.
So there was a
Now
lot
things
of
have stabilized.
a lot of worry about the leadership. And there is a general rule of thumb out there, and for some investment managers, they like to say, I need to have at least a year, a full cycle under management. So they're going to want to see the CEO, CFO in the position for a year before they really invest heavily in something like this. But Alta has been such a great story.
Yes.
You can see all sorts of beats on that chart with that one lone miss, but really looks like that was a case of buy the dip, right, Cooker?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, so next up, we're going to focus on the topic of the day, and that's really Black Friday. I think the early reports were basically
Not so good.
Sales were weaker than expected.
Yeah, preliminary reports say that sales were actually down during these 4 days. Online as well as in-store sales were down 11% compared to last year. But I think it's too early to guess the performance of the holiday season because it is no longer a 1-day or 4-day shopping event.
Exactly.
It actually starts much earlier and goes on for a much longer period of time. So maybe consumers are just waiting for better deals.
Right, exactly. I'm always waiting for the better deal. I don't know about you, Cooker.
Absolutely. I think you've got this sense that it's so easy to go online and shop.
Yes.
I'm not going to do it I don't have to do it on Cyber Monday. I'll get to it, in a few days, next weekend. You've got time. You know that prices are going to be competitive. Selection should be there. I can get it shipped where I want, when I want. So, yeah.
All right.
People will be doing this until December 24th.
Yeah, definitely.
Get the Santa shipping, I guess.
Yeah.
That's one of those options, I guess, that I haven't seen. The one thing that I saw Black Friday, I was expecting a lot more stories about people getting trampled to run after that new flat screen. I don't know about you, but I have a flat screen already.
That did not happen. I think people were trying to buy online. Walmart and Target and Amazon they had such good deals, and Best Buy did not have the best time. Their site actually crashed for some time. It was not working for more than 90 minutes, and then later on there were some problems.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about Cyber Monday here. I noted that a couple weeks in front of Cyber Monday, Channel Advisor takes a look at the retail same-store sales for Amazon. So, how do you get same-store sales for a website? Well, this is actually like the third-party retailers that are selling via Amazon, so the fulfillment by Amazon sort of idea. They were noting that those sales were up 36%, which is pretty large.
Wow.
So obviously Amazon's going to be in there as one of the early winners in the idea of Cyber Monday. But a possible loser in the mix is Best Buy. Just as you were saying that the website went down, that's a little good, little bad.
Yeah, I think more bad.
Cooker, what would you think? What would that say? Best Buy's website goes down. Well, is that saying that there's so much traffic, or is it we're just bad at what we're doing?
Yeah, and clearly Amazon is the king of this. I mean, these guys they built the technology infrastructure so that they can change 80,000 prices in 1 second.
Yeah.
How can Best Buy or Target or Walmart keep up with that kind of sophistication in being able to adjust pricing and clobber everybody?
Exactly. All right, well, this was just a wonderful, wonderful event here for Zacks.
It's over already?
It's over already. Can you believe it? Well, trading
Can we
has
talk
started.
about Ambarella some more?
All right, a little bit more about Ambarella.
No, I think it'll watch this report because I think it's going to be exciting. I think your GoPro might be innovating new cameras. They might be doing drones. But how many teenagers are out there buying the camera that they want to strap on to go snowboarding or whatever they're doing? It's really a bigger business than that because, you have to look at it as, will somebody else learn how to make chips and video processors the way Amba does? Right now, they're the sole provider to GoPro, and they own the biggest market share in IP security. So those are the things to watch for. And this is a stock I think you want to own anytime it dips into the 40s.
All right. Well, that was Zacks Live for today. Make sure you join us next week, Monday at 9:15 a.m. Eastern, when another panel of 3 Zacks strategists comes in here and talks about earnings and what happened in the market. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you then.